Blog Talk Radio.
Well, good morning, open money world, open money land, the place where money is open and the men are beautiful and the women are free. Something like that. It's Monday, and if this is Monday, this must be the Money Monday morning in the Chubby Hiker restaurant at the Avalanche Mount Washington Resort Center in beautiful downtown Courtenay. It's a hostel. It's not a resort, it's a hostel. It used to be the Arbutus, it's now the Avalanche. And good luck to all who sail in her. We very much appreciate the hospitality of our good hosts here. This is the center of the Comox Valley Community Information Services System and all those good things. We broadcast from here Monday mornings, and progressively there will be more. We also hold an open session here every Tuesday evening on money. What does it mean? Where is it? Who's got it and why? And what are we going to do about it? Now for today, the main topic of conversation is, well, it's open money. It's what is open money? Because we've had an awful lot of problems with people being confused upon that very simple issue. Everybody wants in on the act. Everybody wants to figure that just because the word open goes in front of the word money, anything goes. Anything must be open because open is everything, isn't it? Well, it's not. I really wish there was a little bit more intelligent thought applied to this issue. That the word open does just not mean anything goes. It does not. It means something pretty specific. Ernie and I, back in the late 90s, realized that the breadth of the concept was not to be usefully encapsulated by mutual credit or let systems or lets or any other broad or specific definition that was exclusive to that one form. And we also realized that the core idea of an open money system is that anybody who's in it has the facilities of open money. That may sound like a tautology, but if you look back at what is considered to be open or free software, and I realize that there are two different forms there. There's the open source as published by Bruce, what was his name? Lost his name now. He used to work for them, Hewlett Packard and other people. Bruce Perens coined the definition of open source, which was slightly different from the definition of free software originated by Richard Stallman, the Free Software Foundation, wherein code that was created under public license of that nature was explicitly prohibited from being part of any other closed network. The open source definition allowed that you could have code built upon open source code that was nonetheless proprietary under particular conditions and with republicational rights and whatever. I'm not going to dwell into that because I can never get it dead right, and it's all on the net for anybody who wants to look at it in detail. But we've had a similar issue come up around open money. Basically, that there isn't enough clarity about what privileges, opportunities, what sovereignty is the entitlement of the user in an open money system. What do you get by being in the open money context? Well, fundamentally what you get by being a user of the open money space, a sovereign participant, is you get the ability to participate in any of the monetary networks that are available within the technical network of your connections. Now, this could mean that you're part of a global open money network and you can transact with any open currency systems anywhere in the world. That is, systems that are willing to take a bum like you. Some systems in an open money system are private. That is indeed one of the main ideas, is you can be private if you like. Just because it's an open money system doesn't mean that everybody looks at everything that goes on. Again, a common misconception. No, you can have a private system, you can have a quiet system, you can have a stealth system that nobody knows about. And that's all part of the facility of open money. But you notice the facility is to have those options, partly to participate in systems that are open to you, but deeper than that is the ability to create systems. How can you consider this open money unless you and your granny and anybody else who wants to play in this business has the capacity to say, the reason this money is open is that it is accessible, it is freely available. Anybody with an internet connection can hook in and declare a currency. Now, the currency they declare might be measured in time. It might be measured in yen or dollars, or it might be measured in pork belly futures. It might be measured in, the length of grass in my backyard. Who cares? Obviously the users care. That is the whole point. And if users decide that they want to create a monetary model that's based on this, runs that way, and whatever, then that's cool. Now, within that, you can even, within this network, you can create systems that have very specific limitations, credit limits, barriers to entry, even negative interest of all strange and peculiar ideas. You can have that because if you want to insist on that, and some people wish to join in and play that game, then that's totally legitimate. That's open to you. But you see, it's necessary that if you're providing people with a closed system, they are also able to get to open systems, that they can interact outside the particular box that you're building with your one-shot closed, maybe cash-backed, maybe demurrage, maybe only for people who sign the pledge, whatever it is. If you've got a private system, then you're only in an open money world if you're also allowing all the people that are participating in your private system also to have access to open systems. So that's the basic parameter. It's all or it's nothing. And if you guys out there, and I keep seeing it on the Ning website particularly, that's openmoney.ning.com. A site that was begun about this time last year, I think, maybe January, maybe December of 2007, designed to support the development of open money, and in particular the preparation for a conference that took place in Mexico in late February, early March of 2008. Now, the site was specifically about open money development. But we have been assailed with any number of people who think that just because the word open is there, that they can talk about the granny's cat, or they can talk about various closed parameter models exclusive of the idea of open money. Now, that's the key point. They just want to talk about their tub and thump it. And they're not saying, can this tub operate inside this network frame? Which it generally can. Generally, there's a capacity for that. But what we keep hearing people saying, oh, no, you don't want open money. You want this, you want that, you want the other. Without, first of all, even recognizing what open money is. That's the first level of negligence, lack of due diligence. One might almost say lack of native intelligence, common sense. All sorts of common things that are not being recognized properly in this process. See, I've got nothing against ideas like Regios and Berkshires and stuff like that, provided it's recognized what they actually are, which is, well, what the hell are they? I wish one or two of the people who are so keen on these things would be clearer about why they're keen on taking one piece of paper, substituting it for another piece of paper, passing the piece of paper around, put it back in the same place where they got the first piece of paper, and saying, look, we've changed the paper. A little weird. I mean, it's even worse than that in a way. It's a little ghetto system. It's ghetto in that the benefits of something like VER or Berkshires or Toronto dollars or any of these pay the money to get the money packages is that you create yourself a little closed network, okay, but it's closed and it's really just using a cipher of the conventional money. It's like you've taken some of your physical community's money supply and you've locked it into this little game that your subset of that physical community are using. I mean, if people sort of looked at that on a broader cultural level, they would probably wonder whether this wasn't a form of elitism and privilege, a form of distinction, a form of this is for us, not you, because that's the nature of that little game. The VER system, for instance, it's heavily promoted as being a great idea that's done tremendous things for Switzerland or whatever. I don't think it's done anything for Switzerland. It's probably done quite a lot of buddy-buddy, old boy networking amongst the group who use it. But that's more socio-economic than it is economic. And essentially it's a restriction on trade. It's a form of little walled garden territory. A touch of protectionism hits the wall again. So, as you can tell, I'm not extremely excited about the Regio. I'm not extremely excited about the VER. I'm scathingly dismissive of the Salt Spring Dollar, Toronto Dollar, Berkshires, all that sort of thing. I'm told that it's a very good indicator and it leads people towards a greater appreciation, but frankly, appreciation of what? The old cargo cults. Look that up on Wikipedia if you need to, cargo cults, or look for Richard Feynman's elegant conversations about the cargo cults. The perception that if I do what the other person is doing, then maybe I'm going to get what the other person gets. I see by your outfit that you're a cowboy. If we all wear outfits, we can be cowboys too. Well, it works at one level, but it doesn't fly. And the currencies that are backed by the money that they're pretending to displace or represent or change are a bit like people who are running around the airport carrying out wings on their heads and saying, we're flying, look, we've got wings. Yeah, but you still got your feet on the ground, buddy. You're still leaning on the thing that you wanted to not lean on. Like going swimming in the shallow end. Flap your arms around, but your feet are still firmly on the bottom. It ain't swimming. So that was a minor digression on the limitations of monetary-backed monies. So Ernie asks me across the table, because his microphone isn't working today, and he can stir his coffee and look me straight in the eyes and meaningfully say, Michael, what does open money mean for the... In fact, I'm going to give him the microphone so he can say it meaningfully. Here he is. Here's Ernie.
Well, we've heard what open money isn't, and we've been what we do want to talk about is what open money is, and I think more importantly, what open money does. The facility for anybody anywhere to create their own community currencies on the fly, on the web, and the software is coming soon, isn't it, Michael?
Software is always coming soon. This has been the biggest thing we've learned about software, is that it's always coming soon. But it may be, well, in many respects, there are software systems that can provide community currency on an open money basis already. The best one in terms of functionality is probably the CC Lite package from hughbernard.org. hughbernard.org. Very effective. Not as well linked for cross-regional global linking, I believe, But maybe I'm wrong about that. I certainly don't know enough about the program to be totally secure about that. There's also the Party Smart Regenerosity software that Jeff Cheshire has been developing. And third, there is the Ruby CC and Ruby OM packages that Eric Harris-Braun has been putting together and are currently in a bit of stasis, but there are programmers apparently looking at it as we speak who may be ready to raise it to action. So the actuality of being able to implement open money is already true. You can do it. You can't yet reliably have a global open money, but you can have a local, regional, or network open money that provides the participants of your network with multiple currencies and the capacity to create them on the fly. So that's open. And the other parts of open money you can find on our Open Money Manifesto. It's on www.openmoney.org, and you will find in the top menu line on that page the word manifesto. And frankly, I can't understand why I would be having conversations with anybody about open money if they weren't just up to date with this page. Now, you may not agree with everything on this page. That's a question of whether you've got your head screwed on or not. But even if you don't agree with any of it, you should know that this is what we're talking about. So when we say this site or this page or this program or this agenda or this event is about open money, guess what, children? We're talking about that and that only. Now, I don't mind occasionally dealing with a flat earth, squarehead, lunatic, money reformer, but only just as a sort of an object lesson in, no, sir, that is not open. That is closed. It may be worthy, maybe beautiful, maybe profound, maybe steeped in the ghosts of ancient writers, philosophers, and all sorts of things. But if it isn't compatible with what's on the Open Money Manifesto, it ain't open money. Sufficient and free, virtual and not limited, any form you like, scoring system for those that consent to use it. Money is simply a social agreement. But the capacity to live with that agreement, to make it available and to play with it, that's the sine qua non, the necessary and indeed sufficient conditions that it shall be available to a user to participate in currencies at will, and it will be available to the user to create currencies when they're needed and wanted and in the forms that work for them. Ernie, any more questions?
Well, no, actually, no more. Not a question so much as another website for people to look at, and that's the openmoney.editme.com site, which is and the now. Actually, the only connect or now.
Now of money.
Now of money. There's also only connect, but now of money is the architecture, as it were.
Yeah, the only connect, or it's actually the tag is connect on openmoneyeditme.com. The connect one deals with the basics of mutual credit, self-created virtual currency, and the fact that is an available niche because of the limitations of a closed money. Closed money, in this case, the conventional legal tender, limited supply issued by central authorities. Call them banks, call them governments, call them whatever you like. It's basically not you and it's not me. I mean, that's the way we've got to look at this. Let's not get too picky about the minutiae of whether it's a treasury bill or God knows what it is that starts the whole game off. The fact of the matter, as far as you and I are concerned, is conventional money is outside our control. It's stuff that comes to us and spend away, and that's it. It goes by. Well, because that's leaving a niche, we have the opening. The opening gives us the opportunity for mutual credit, self-regulating, self-standing, self-starting currencies. And the Connect site on the editme.com, that's http://openmoney.editme.com. Put in your own colons and slashes, please. You go there and you check on Connect, you get the basis for what community currencies on the mutual credit are for. But you look on Now of Money to see the architecture of the namespace, which is what makes this whole possibility realistic, which gives us the ability to define reputation on a localized, on a network basis. All the members of my church group, all the members of my Chamber of Commerce, we trust each other, we know each other, and we're careful of our personal and joint reputation. So just like you have an internet service provider, mail groups, this sort of affair, just as you can join an ISP and have an email account, you can join a CCSP and have a community currency account. This is not a functional association with the other people in that service provider. You're not obliged to each other. You're not responsible for each other. You're not in a joint venture with each other. You don't have joint liabilities or anything like that. It's just that your names stand together in reputation. And this means that if anybody in your reputation group is making a bit of a fool of themselves, it's best to shed them and thus keep your name, your group name, and your personal names well clear and clean. So communities of identity are equivalent to, in the email world, the service provider that gives you a pop mail account. It's the place where you hang your hat, where you hang out. But from that place, you participate in many currencies, or a few currencies, whatever currencies you like. And you can see the basic architecture of that in a regrettably bad, but what the hell, it still works, graphic series on openmoney.editme.com, the Now of Money. So pay attention to that. And that will give you the gears. Now, the other one to look at is if you go to openmoney.info, which is Eric Harris Brown's explanation of what we call the mesh and churn and the namespace that goes with it, you'll see a more technical deposition of the same idea. And that's in the technology part, and it's in what's called the overview. So openmoney.info/techne, TECHNE/overview.html. Now, to show you the mesh, the churn, the namespace, the currencies, the accounts, how it all works. Now, that is what Open Money is. Now, there's a third thing in Open Money, which we've got to get really clear before anybody gets too confused about what they think they can get away with and go running on. Open Money is not owned by anybody. It is not enclosed. It is not inside a walled garden. It is not territorialized. It is not there for the benefit exclusively of any individual or group, particularly to the detriment of any other individual or group. What that means specifically is that if you are using the basic concepts of community currencies and the idea structures behind Open Money, you may not ethically, morally, pragmatically try and cream the revenue for your own particular benefit. No closed territories. No selling free money. Basically, free money, free as in speech, should be free as in beer as well. Certainly, if you try and put up a toll booth around your money system, and you say, we're going to charge 2%, we're going to charge 5%, we're going to charge a flat rate of this much on every transaction, or we're going to charge interest on all deals, either positive or negative. Any such imposition counters the fact that open money is a commons affair. It exists in public space, and you have no right. So we've got to watch this one, because Community Way, which is our sort of starter model, is beginning to pick up a little bit of attention and steam around the place. And there's a pernicious problem that everybody is so addicted to fear about money, controlling space, managing the risk of a project. We're going to start a project. We can't afford it to go wrong, so we need to be in control of this, that, and the other. Forget it. That's the old model. It's the anal retentive world. In open money, it's not practical to do that. It's self-defeating. It's also immoral and confused. So don't do it. Raises the question, of course, of so how do you make money to run the show if money is required? And the bottom line on that is by contribution to community. Demonstrate through your deployment of the open money platform just how productive that platform can be at raising hard cash and soft cash, CC and legal tender alike, for community initiatives, for charities, for joint ventures, for art projects, for this, that, and the other. If you demonstrate the application of your platform in such unequivocally positive way, then you may be entitled to suggest to certain classes of participants, and here particularly I'm thinking of the businesses that are joining in, that it would be advisable and prudent and useful and ethically positive for them to recognize the contribution of the development initiatives in their region by sort of tipping them, giving them some tipping points of tipping. We acknowledge the development group of Milwaukee, for instance, where they're one there, because we are a Milwaukee business, maybe we're brewers, and we've joined the open money world, and in addition to the charitable donations we're making in community currency, which is a damn good thing for any business to do, we're also making a recognition of the gift that the open money development group in our region has brought to us, and we're giving them a tip. Not a payment, although it should be tax deductible. So it's a recognition of it's a fee in that level, but it's a fee that's initiated by the business, not by the open money development group. Now this takes recognition of the fact that you've opened the show, you've invited everybody to the riverside to see where the water is. You can't then say, now line up in that queue and pay me money every time you take a glass of water out of here. Once you've shown people the river, get real. You can't toll booth it. You just make yourself look stupid. And good God, there's enough things to look stupid about already. Here's Ernie.
Well, it's the show is just about over. We've got, 1 minute left? Yeah, 1 minute. So we're going to be here again next Monday, probably at 10 o'clock. But if you can't listen live, well, and in fact, if you're listening at all at this point, you're probably listening to a podcast. So check it out. Have a look at the material. Have a look at ning.openmoney.com, and you might want to join in there. You might want to drop us an email. I'm Ernie at openmoney.org, and Michael is MWL at openmoney.org. Drop us an email. We're also on Skype. We're all over the place, Facebook, and etc. So drop us a note, and let's get into a conversation. We missed Heath this morning somehow. I don't know what happened. He was going to join us. But anyway, Heath, if you're out there, give us a call. And that's it for me anyway. Michael, last word?
Open. Last word. Open. Let's get it real. It tells us the show is on, but it's not streaming anymore, so I guess we lost that words. But those of you who are lucky enough to be catching this on the legacy podcast system will know that we're talking about open. Now, that's open money. It's not open everything. Curiously, there was a conference a few months ago up in this region called Open Everything. Heard about it fairly much last moment. Tried to get involved in it. Now they told me, no, open everything isn't open money. Open money isn't really open, which is a fairly good indication that minds are not all that open either. So let's just keep bashing on the open concept, but be clear what we're talking about. Money can be open, and money can be anything but open. On these sites, in this context, with this group, whoever this group turns out to be, open is the name of the game. Anything else is mere... It's not. It's not. It's not money. It's not open money. It's like snotlets. There was a lot of snotlets around at one point. Well, it's not open money, mate. Okay, says Arnie, so I think it's time to can. Calling it out, calling it off. Thank you. Radioland. Bye now.